Hey all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Friday, and we're going to take a look at this today, courtesy of Maximal 10. This is the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, and I've been fairly critical of this guy because A, I think he's too small, but B, I really didn't feel like it captured Bumblebee, at least in the torso area. Maybe I'm wrong. We're going to find out, and we're going to compare him to KBB's Hornet's agent, who I think is the gold standard for a representation of G1 Bumblebee in a mainline collection. So we're going to do that comparison. We're going to look at this guy in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell. Helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below, also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the box 4B. And don't get me wrong, there are aspects about this that I certainly do like, even based on the artwork, and even back here. But that squared off chest, it just doesn't put me in the mind of B. Am I being too critical? Am I being hypercritical? Or am I being just the right amount of critical? How about we find out together when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so, of course, we begin, as we always begin, with the packaging. This is the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee Deluxe class. I struggle to say that. Oh, that doesn't feel good in the mouth. Bumblebee down here, over here a close-up of his Bumblebee head. Over here a close-up of the body. I mean, looks like Bumblebee. And, of course, over here we have the product images, and we have like the typical background and stuff. I'm pretty sure, without reading it, that that's probably like, you know, on Cybertron or inside Unicron or in the Quintesson base or some such nonsense from the 86 movie. If you're wondering what he looks like with the background, oh well, there you go. I mean, he looks small, but I guess he's inside Unicron. He's gonna be small compared to Unicron. But yeah, I guess if you like these backdrops. He also comes with this here sheet of instructions. I mean, I guess they're good. I didn't really find I needed to use them. The top is 86 Bumblebee's nice silver blaster. The bottom is the KBB Hornet's agent's little tiny teeny blaster. It's neat. I do wish that the blaster was a little bit more of a metallic blue, since his blaster isn't quite silver. It's a little bit blue, but you know, if you have the one from the Centurion pack, I guess you could always paint that, or paint this a metallic blue, and it would work just fine. And so here we have 86 Bumblebee, who clocks in at 53 grams of plastic. I think that's way too small to be called a deluxe. You know, I've said it a lot of times, traditional is 84. The War for Cybertron / Legacy trilogies really downsized that generally to 72 to 77, while also up in the price. I feel like 53 is... it's not enough to be a deluxe. It is definitely more than the 35 to 38 of a Legends. Maybe we gotta reintroduce Scout class as a thing, because this feels like it's Scout class. For those interested, here he is next to Cliff Jumper, and I like, he scales just fine with Cliff Jumper, though he feels smaller, which is weird, but he scales just fine with Cliff Jumper. So I'm going to take him out of it, and not for nothing, here he is next to KBB's Hornet's agent. And again, both of them scale pretty close. The 86 ever so slightly taller. Let's get into scores for the guy. He should have no tires on the side of his foot. KBB Hornet's agent folds into tires. He does have tires on the side of his foot. He should have, I guess, toe tips that are a black bumper. They both have that. His feet should be the front of the car. They both have that. The legs should be black, which they both have. The 86 might be a dark gray, a gunmetal gray, but I'm going to give it to them. They both have yellow on the pelvis. There should be black on the abdomen that the Hornet's agent doesn't have. The 86 kind of has it ever so slightly just before going up to the window. The arms should have black hands. They both have that. Yellow forearms. They both have that. Black shoulders. They both have that. I think the head of both is fine, though Hornet's Agent has like a grayish color on the face. There's silver on the face of the 86. Then we get to the main torso. The main torso should be a little more rounded, with really blue windows in the animation, which is what Hornet's Agent got. I feel like the chest here is too squared, and the black windows, to me, feel more like hubcap or bumper. So I think they're very comparable, but I like the chest of Hornet's Agent better. Though I do like the height and slenderness of 86 better. If we look at the back, I got to give it to Hornet's Agent again because he has the tire on his back, as he should have, rather than the back of the car. So, in terms of look, what am I going to give 86B? I'm going to take him out of it. It's close. It's for sure close. I'm going to say 86B is 8.5. I mean, I wish the corners, I guess, of the roof were a little more rounded than as pointed as they are. I wish the windows were blue instead of black, and I do wish that we had the tire on the back. I mean, they could have had something that like poked in, I guess, here, but admittedly, that would then mean that you couldn't use the little slot. Oh, if I can do this now. It's way easier than I just made that look to put his blaster down there. But like, I feel like maybe you could have had another piece that would serve as like the spare tire that could go in there. And even if you wanted a slit on that to also put the blaster back there, I'd be cool with that. But I think that with the low mass that this is, and honestly, it's not that it's made up with a ton of paint, because it's not. I feel like you really should have had that one, like extra accessory at least. That said, yeah, I'm gonna say for look of the guy, overall 8.5. It's good, but there are ways it could have been better. Let's do the articulation. 8.5 is a good start, by the way. The head goes left, right, not much up and down. A little bit of wiggle up and down is kind of all you're getting. I guess a little up and down. The arms, they go all the way around. Full T-pose out to the side. We have an elbow to 90 degrees, bicep swivel, wrist rotation. At this point, at this juncture, just out of interest sake, everything that we have on 86, we also have on Hornet's Agent. So, just worth noting, if you were wondering like kind of which bee to go for, because I know a lot of people still ask me where to get a Hornet's Agent or what it is. Then we get to the advantage that the 86 has. The 86 has a waist. Hornet's Agent, admittedly, does not have a waist. But both can do full splits out to the side. Both can do full kick forward and a full kick back. Both have a knee that goes to 90 degrees. I just want to see something now before I kind of go on with it. And if I didn't say thigh swivel as well. Yes, they both also have ankle tilt. So the one advantage in terms of articulation that this has over Hornet's Agent is the waist, which is a significant piece of articulation if we're being frank. So, again, articulation, I think for what this is and for the size it is, I couldn't ask for more. I mean, a lot of times I argue with the smaller things and I say, hey, the engineering isn't a big factor. This is still, because of the mass and the paint and stuff, it's still like a Legends. But this is obviously more. If you compare this, for example, to Titan's Return Bumblebee, this is obviously better than that. And that was a Legends. And that was an okay Legends for the time. But this is way better. Like I said, probably Scout class. For the articulation, though, I'm going to say, honestly, 10. It does everything that I could really want a Bumblebee to do. So 8.5 to 10. So far, this Bumblebee, even though I have an issue with the chest, this Bumblebee is definitely, absolutely scoring right now about a 9.2, let's say. Right, it was an 8.5, a 10. Let's say about a 9.25. We got to do the transformation. And I'm going to note this now. Actually, no, I'm not. I'll note it when we get to it. Let's bring that down and let's pick all of this off. Now I'll mention it since we have it off. There is an armature up here. This armature connects the back of the vehicle to the rest of the body. There is a third-party kit that has a similar armature that can be used to connect, say, Cliff Jumper's back to his body. In fact, I've seen it used with Cliff Jumper, though I'm sure it could be used with any version of that mold. Why Hasbro, back in Earthrise, did not include this armature is beyond me. Because again, that's a small deluxe. The ability to include the extra mass was definitely there. So that kind of bugs me, if I'm being perfectly frank about it. Then the arms we're going to put up, and I think they come back like this, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to fold up an arm, and I'm going to bring it back on the side of the tires. And I'm going to roll those tires out on the side for now. Okay, I'm going to take the head, and I'm going to bring it forward, and that back down over. I'm going to take the tires here, and I'm going to rotate it around, and rotate it around. Whew, I think we're coming along okay. I'm going to bring that armature back just a little bit. Oh, and he fell forward on me. We're going to undo the little section down there and fold up the front that it tabs into. There's a little tab on it. Bring it out. Fold that up. Open the side of the foot out. Open the side of the foot out. Put this in. Put this in. Now, we're going to bring the waist all the way down. And this is what I was talking about when I said the bit of black for his torso is there. Bring that all the way down, and it does snap in. You don't just fold it down, you have to make sure that it snaps in. Then we're going to start to bring the foot forward, start to bring the foot forward. Now, a lot of people, and I believe the instructions say to put these together and then try to move them up as one piece. I find that that doesn't really work. I find, for me anyway, it's better if I put up one side first and then put up the other side after. And all you're really doing is collapsing the leg up and the ankle and then making sure that it's up underneath. Then I put those together. Other people may do it differently, and that's cool. Then we should be able to bring the arms down and in, and the two wrists peg into each other. I like that better than these hands going over pegs on the back piece, a la the Netflix version of Bumblebee. I'm not doing a comparison with that because everybody's compared it to that version. And then finally, we bring in the back of the vehicle, make sure it's all tabbed together, and boom, in the end here we have Bumblebee in his kind of VW Beetle bug mode. And here we have the 86 and Hornet's agent. Now, for me, the slightly rounded, I guess, curves on the front and the slope on the back, this feels more like a Beetle to me. I feel like this is more accurate. I like this. But Starscream Wife said this feels more like a real Beetle to her, like if it was licensed. This feels like it's almost a Beetle that they would have used in the G1 cartoon. So she actually picked the 86 over Hornet's agent for animation accuracy. The transformation to get here is very smooth, very easy. It takes what people enjoyed about the Earthrise mold, and there was a lot about that mold that I was not a fan of, to be honest with you. I found plenty of them to be quite finicky to transform. But it takes everything about that and refines it and makes it better. I'm going to say the transformation for the 86, also a 10. It's a really good, solid, easy transformation. I do like how two of the tires fold into the body here like they do here. I do like that they use the third-party armature to connect the back of the vehicle to the main body. But I think it all comes together to give a 10 for transformation. He was getting a 9.25. A 10 for transformation, I mean, brings this guy up to about a 9.6, 9.65, something like that. Like, this is an excellent Bumblebee. This is also an excellent Bumblebee. I feel like, and this is the subjective part now, because the score for this guy's a 9.65. He's excellent. And if he's the Bumblebee that you chose, I get it. I do. I understand. Here's the difference between this and this for me. So maybe you get a bit of an understanding of old GotBot, just a little bit more. I feel like This looks more like the cartoon with the oversized windows and stuff. And I like the blue on the windows, and I like the curves. And in robot mode, I think they are both comparable. The difference is this: 46 grams cost me $17. No big deal. This is 53 grams, and it cost $40. That's a big deal. This should be much better than this because it's more than double the price. I see the addition of a waist here as a benefit. Other than that, I think my champion is still going to be this guy. But if your champion is the 86, I absolutely understand it because he is fantastic, clocking in at an overall score of 9.65. And here we are once again, and here they are. Same size, by the way. One is $17, the other is $40. Admittedly, I think they're both quite successful. I do find the square edges on the 86 a little off-putting. I know that this guy's chest is also somewhat squared, but the corners are softer and a little bit rounder, and I think that that speaks to me more. I do prefer the black over the really dark gray on this guy, though I will admit that the gray is probably more animation accurate. I do prefer the deeper yellow plastic on this guy, though I do like this yellow plastic because I think that this yellow plastic is more like the cartoon. So I think the gray is more cartoon accurate here. I think the yellow is more cartoon accurate here. Make of that what you will. I do think the blaster of the 86 is better than it is on Hornet's Agent, and while both of them have good articulation, I do admit that the articulation, certainly a waist rotation, and does this guy have wrists? I can't remember now. Yeah, he has wrists. Certainly the waist articulation is a plus for this guy. Backpack, the Hornet's Agent wins it because he should have the tire on the back, not the back of the vehicle on the back. In alt mode, I think KBB Hornet's Agent absolutely takes it, but Starscream Wipe overall like this guy. This is not a bad B. Was my criticism a bit harsh? Yeah, maybe, and I understand the appeal, but I still feel like around here on the chest is too squared off for my personal taste. That said, if you're okay with it, then you know what? Great articulation, a great look, a transformation that borrows a little bit from Hornet's Agent with the tires going inside the body, and from one of the add-on kits that I want to say went with the Earthrise Cliff Jumper, where you could connect his backpack. I mean, they have a connection rod basically in there now, which they probably should have had all along. Do I think that this is better than the Netflix Bumblebee? Yeah, I think I do. I think that this is better than that. Do I think that this is a full deluxe class value? No. I do acknowledge that it's more than we would typically get with a Legends, but I feel like that this would probably best fall in something like Scout Class. Maybe we should bring back Scout Class, right? To put little lads like this in there. I do wish the tires folded in on the side, but that's a minor gripe. I'm glad we have the little skid plates, if you want to call it that, or bottoms of the feet there. Interesting transformation, good articulation, good look. Maybe I was a little harsh on the guy, even if he's not quite the Bumblebee for me. I totally understand why he might be the Bumblebee for you. Let me know what you think about 86B. I appreciate you guys dropping by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. And please don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.